Toriko chapter 260, y'all. This week's chapter of Toriko is filled with all goodness, no bad, which seems to be the usual custom of Toriko now, which is great for us fans, great for Mitsutoshi, great in general for manga and all. Now, this chapter really was simple, not gonna lie. Not gonna front y'all. Simple chapter. We continue where we left off. No surprise to anybody, right? Jiro, he approaches Toriko. And okay, Jiro brought sake. Cool. Didn't know what was in the bag, but I mean, it's Jiro. Should have guessed it was some kind of liquor, right? I mean, really. Master Jiro, the old drunk. But anyways, he brings and sets down his bill sake bottle. Now that I'm thinking about it, it reminds me, it's reminiscent a bit of, not quite as big, but you'll get, if you know One Piece, when Shanks brought the sake bottle to Whitebeard on the Moby Dick. Yeah, you can say there's some resemblance there. Anyways, I guess it's a Japanese custom or something or another. Anyways, so Jiro, he's talking to Toriko, and he sees what Rin's been talking about. Toriko's been sitting there, just been there at that, just staring off, been depressed and everything. It's not only the Komatsu thing, as you'll see in a bit later. Jiro's like, you should pick yourself up. It's all good, baby. Toriko, he's not really hearing it. He's like, I really hate that I'm weak. And Jiro's like, yeah, bruh, remember. So Jiro came with the wise words. There was a couple things, about 3 important things he really said in this chapter. He came with the wise words and like, remember, it was a wild battle. There's no good or evil in a wild battle. It's just, you go in there and give it all you got, and that's just how it works. You have to accept what fate has handed you. You got to accept, the results. That's it. Period. You have to move on. And I love the analogy he said about the swing. Swing goes up, and the higher it goes up, the harder it comes down. But you have to jump up again and push forward. He's trying to get him to motivate him to realize, bro, you gotta pick yourself up. All this talk about being down and being weak, no, you don't get it, do you? And Toriko's like, I don't even deserve to be a Bishoku. And Jiro's like, this is the second important thing. He's like, he talked about at the end of the conversation. Well, he said some other important, but really important stuff. He said, pretty much you'll remember who you are. A Mufasa moment. Remember who you are. And he's like, yeah, whether you're awake or asleep, you're a Bishoku. Okay? Remember, you're a Bishokuya. That's what you are. That's what we are. That's what you understand that? Bro, remember what your dream was? Remember, look toward the future. Okay? Remember, don't forget the essence of who you are, Toriko. The third thing he actually said, which is one of the first things he actually said, was he talked about, he brought up the side bones like, Ichi-chan, Ichirai, former president Ichirai. He said this was his favorite sake. And, because Toriko, he brought out some food, but Toriko doesn't even want to eat. But Toriko's not looking like he's losing any energy. In fact, he has much more energy than ever before. And then it kind of shocked Jiro. So, interesting stuff, I must say. So, this is beyond true honor? Just saying, I don't know. But anyways, so Toriko, he's not eating or whatever, but Jiro brings out, sake, and he's like, this was Ichi-chan's favorite, right? And, I don't really like it. I'm guessing because the alcohol's weak. You remember it said Ichirai wasn't a drinker, and he's saying it doesn't taste all the well, which Toriko agreed. But here's the thing, the important thing, he confirmed for all those who doubted and didn't believe, Jiro just confirmed in chapter 260 that Ichirayu indeed did die in the gourmet world. Now, I don't think Mr. Toshi's gonna pull some plot hole nonsense. Ichirayu's dead. Let's just face it. Midora, he already had confirmed that this is double confirmation. Ichirayu's dead. And, you know, that shocked Toriko. Okay? I guess Toriko was out and he didn't know about the whole meteor spikes and all that jazz, which makes sense. And Jiro, you know, simple G on some gangster status, okay? OG Jiro on some gangster status, you know, drinking up for his dead homie's dead brother, okay? And Toriko, he takes a drink and he's like, yeah, it's not that good, but it does, like, you know, Ichirayu drinking, you know, it's got a nostalgic flavor to it. And the last important part of this first part, because it was 2 parts to this quick chapter. Jiro says, he talks about, you know, Ichirayu being the most powerful, which others had hinted out. And so it seems like Midora wasn't as powerful as Ichirayu, and Midora kind of hinted at it, so maybe Ichirayu wasn't going all out and he let Midora win. Because Jiro's like, when we were younger, I wouldn't, you know, I would cry when we would fight, and I would cry when Ichirayu win, and I wouldn't stop crying until Ichirayu let me win. So, but, you know, and, or it could be that Midora actually won, because it was a bit vague the way he said it, because it could have played 2 ways, because Jiro's like, I'm not surprised that we won. So, did Ichirayu let him win? We can't say we're entirely certain. It is what it is. So you know, Toriko knows. So we move on. It'll be interesting to see where this path now leads for Toriko. Where's his dream? Where's his future? Now we move over back to, you know, more progression with Stars. How can you not love Stars? But anyway, Stars looking like Zuko a little bit. Did y'all see that scarf? Almost Zuko-esque. Almost. Just saying from Avatar Last Airbender. So Stars, you know, Toriko's cells really did a number on him. And that marking in the midst of his chest, it really did a mark. Stars, he arrives and, you know, the Bishopia headquarters is in flames. Now, we don't see anybody else, pretty much. No green patch, none of them. Okay? You see Stars, and he goes in, and the place is all burn up and jump. And he's like, yo, what happened here? What is this? What in the world is this? And the dude, some minor chef, comes, and he's like, yo, where's JoJo? And they're like, well. And Stars is like, nah. Even here? See, he got even here? Stars knew. Midori didn't know. Stars knew though. Once again we see that. But he's even shocked by how deep the infestation of Nia was. But then, doggone, we see, you know, Komatsu finally woken up, right? And of course it's Taki, and he approaches him, and he's like, you know, Komatsu like, Takichi, where? And Taki's like, you're in the almost defunct Bishoku, and the headquarters, right? Bishoku Kai headquarters. So, is Taki, wouldn't be surprised if Taki's part of Neo as well. We'll see what happens with Taki. We'll see. Are these two gonna clash? Can come out? Is Taki gonna teach Komatsu? I don't know what's about to happen. Is Stars gonna teach Komatsu? I don't know. There's a lot of you know, mystery at the beginning of this arc. I have no idea where this arc's headed. You feel me? It feels like we're still getting over the aftermath of the Cooking Island arc. So overall, this was an 8 out of 10. It was a great chapter of Toriko. And for those who saw my last chapter review, they'll be wondering, well, why are you putting this chapter on the same level as that chapter? Remember I said it was greatness, right? I obviously said it was 8 out of 10 because, look, first and foremost, Now, it was a stellar concept. It was a stellar concept that Mitsutoshi presented in chapter 259. But here's the thing about it. I wasn't as mind blown as most. Queen King of Lightning, shout out to him once again. I wasn't as mind blown because, believe it or not, craziness goes on in his mind, and I understood the concept quite well, to say the least. It, you know, it was great. You know, we didn't see it coming, but it wasn't the most mind-blowing thing I've ever read. Don't get me wrong, if you saw the last review, I loved it, but it's not the most mind-blowing thing I've ever read, once again. And as well as, you gotta realize what this chapter did. This chapter presented some solid psychological and philosophical things, as well as adding a good amount of plot progression, you could say, because we did get back to Starch and Bishoku Kai, and we got Komatsu actually waking up finally. But the dude's been out for days, maybe weeks, I don't know. Anyways, so we got some good plot progression, we got things popping off, and we're gonna see where Toriko goes from here, and probably also where the rest of the Four Heavenly Kingdoms go, because I'm guessing they're heading off to the first part. We shall see. But you know, we got what we needed. And the thing about it is, if you know me personally, or if you watch my reviews, you know that I'm heavy about the psychology and the philosophy of characters and the themes that are presented. And Jiro with some real talks to Toriko, which is always great to see, because Toriko was on some freaking Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy, and Kamishiro U status. You know, Luffy from One Piece, Kamishiro U from Holy Land, with the down and dumps. You know, remember when Luffy was after the Marineford War, and you know, Jinbei had to pick him up out of his depression state. And I remember Kamishiro U, after he felt like he was weak, he lost his punching power, and then he was down in the mountain dumps of depression, and he gained that back because of help from Masaki Aizawa, Sister Maya Aizawa. So yeah, that was good reminiscence of that. And like I said, it was an 8 out of 10. Great episode of great chapter of Toriko. And the unexpected one, to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts about this chapter. How did you like it? And till next time, y'all. Beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.